I didn't look up at that clock for a while. You know, Medicaid is incredibly important for us, especially in the home care world, because it has to do with, you know, even if you work, you're still going to need stuff. Somebody still has to help you go to bed, you know, do your stuff, just like myself. You know, I'm a Medicaid participant. And the government understands that. They want you to work and do stuff, but they still want to support your health. Now, what are the incentives that exist? I mean, as a standard rule, if you're making in the few, I think it's also $980 or something, or it's somewhere close to that, you become Medicaid ineligible. If you have more than $2,000, you're also Medicaid ineligible. So the rules are very similar to the SSI program. But there's a whole bunch of different programs that allow you to maintain your Medicaid and work. Starting with the most common one is the Medicaid buy-in program for people with disabilities. This is a program that is directly done through Medicaid. You go into the social service office, you say, I'm certified disabled by SSA, by the Social Security Administration. I want to apply for this program to keep Medicaid. Basically what it does in a nutshell is you pay a premium monthly to buy Medicaid. So you maintain your Medicaid by paying a monthly premium. It changes all the time. There's like 5 years where you don't have to pay. It's something very small. It's like $75 or $150 or whatever. You know, it's not a very large number. I'm sorry? A month, yes, a month. I keep forgetting to say that. And you're able to keep your Medicaid benefits the way you have them. The one rule is there's limit income. So you're able to make, as it stands right now, $57,000 a year. It changes every year, it goes up, so you can be working, be active, and still be a Medicaid participant up to $57,000 a year under this program. All right? Yes?
Just what you said, so it goes by your yearly salary, not your monthly salary?
Yes, the Medicaid is, you were certified once a year. It's not like SSDI or SSI where they're much monthly. Medicaid is all one time a year certification, it's your W-2s and stuff like that. So there's no monthly aspect to the Medicaid portion of it.
That's what happened years ago when I originally on SSI or SSDI. It was I got paid bi-weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So some months have 5 weeks, some months have 4 weeks. So sometimes I get 3 paychecks a month, sometimes I get 2 paychecks.
Right.
So there was a while there, a year and a half or whatever. Oh, you didn't pay you enough for money. Okay, here you go. Oh, wait a minute, you made too much money last month.
Right.
Oh, we didn't pay you enough this month. I mean, it was just until I finally made too much.
Right.
To totally get off it.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. As time goes on, and I'll go back just for a second. You know, some of those months that she was working, it was SSDI, correct? Yeah, would have been counted in those 9-month trial months. And I forgot to mention this, but the SSDI limit is $1,040. The trial month limit is $750. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Did I say that? No? Did I miss that? No. So any month that you make over $750, it actually counts as a trial month. So you're still eligible to get SSDI services, SSDI income, but it's a trial month. You know, that 9-month period where you get to test it out and have fun, the number is different. It's not 1040, it's 750. Why they did that, I can't explain it to you. But so even if for 9 months you make $800, you're not making 1040, but you made over 750. So you will dry out your trial months, which doesn't mean you come off of the SSDI program, but you no longer have this 9 months to play around with. You know what I mean? Okay. So, yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that.
It's okay.
Going over to the next part that Medicaid has that allows you to work. It's a little bit hard to understand this program, but it's called 1619B. If you ever heard of it. So if you are an SSI recipient, some of us get Medicaid directly through SSI. So let's say you go back to work, you stop receiving SSI. Technically, once you stop receiving SSI, you should stop receiving Medicaid and home care services and health care services supplies. The government created this special program where you show, okay, I'm not receiving SSI, but I want to be eligible through Medicaid through the SSI program. And you apply for 1619B. The major benefit is it saves you all the recertifying. Going to the Medicaid office and applying for Medicaid is like a 10-day process, and they look back 5 years, and they They do all this crazy eligibility stuff. If you apply for 1619B, which is through the Social Security office, they will not, you will still be automatically eligible. You won't have to go through any of that stuff. Under 1619B, you're able to make about $40,000 to $45,000. So if you're planning on making $40,000 to $45,000 and you want to maintain your Medicaid, you can do it right through Social Security. You don't have to do Medicaid buy-in or anything else and maintain it that way. If your income's going up to about $55,000, $60,000 a month, you will have to go through the Medicaid buy-in people for people with disabilities. And the last thing that I will talk about, 5 minutes, is what if you're making lots of money, $100,000, $150,000, very significant amounts of money, and you still need Medicaid. Basically, all that falls into the category of special needs trust or supplemental needs trust. When I make a significant amount of money, I keep what I'm allowed to keep through Medicaid, which is about $900 a month, and the rest I put into a trust. A very simple trust that you can set up. There's all types of different trust organizations, and if any of you have this issue, I can help you set up this trust where all this money goes into this SNT. So your SNT can grow. You can have $500,000. You can have whatever you want in it. It doesn't make a difference. How does an SNT work? You can pay your mortgage from it. You can buy cars. You can do all types of things with it that you need for your life. But Medicaid watches it, and Medicaid has rules. So you can't go gamble it away in Vegas. You can't take out any cash. You're never really allowed to take out cash because you could be doing anything with it. But you can use the account you have from the trust to buy TVs, to buy anything in your life that you really want. You can go on vacation, you can do other stuff. They just have, you can't buy alcohol from your trust. I mean, there's a list of maybe 20 or 30 things that you can't do. But this is a great way where you can still own a house. You can still buy a house and pay your mortgage from this trust. It's a very commonly used thing. Every month you have to submit your expenses. They look at what you spent. You send your money to the trust. They send the money back. It's a procedure, but it's an effective way for you to maintain all your Medicaid services and make as much money as you like. It's also the same system that people use when, I'm disabled and I have Medicaid services, I get hit by a car and I get a $150,000 settlement. What can I do? That $150,000 will make me ineligible for Medicaid and a lot of other things. So again, you put it into the special needs trust under these special rules where it's watched. The major downfall of a special needs trust is your whole life you worked, you saved up $1 million, you're 67 years old and you only spent $200,000, you have $800,000 left in there and you die. You can't leave that for anybody. It goes back to Medicaid. So it's in your best interest to spend all that money in there as much as possible because you don't want to give it to Medicaid. But don't tell Medicaid they said that.
What about a home that you might own?
A home is an exception. All homes that you own are considered a homestead exception. So you keep it under your name. Medicaid, your primary residence under $750,000 in the state of New York doesn't count towards Medicaid, SSDI, SSI, or anything. It's yours.
On. What can I do with that asset?
You can pass it on to your wife, your kids, whoever you want. Only the things in the trust, that money in the trust goes on to Medicaid. Cash. Well, yeah, it's cash.
So if you turn that into TVs and stuff like that,
I mean,
that's all part of that can be gifted.
Yes, I mean, if they see you buying 500 TVs, I'm sure they would have an issue and ask what exactly are you doing?
Okay.
Maybe 400 is
Okay.
good, because they like to make sure that you're not liquefying your assets, and they want to make sure that there's reasonableness, and they do watch it to some degree. I mean, you could probably get away with maybe 50 TVs if you buy 2 a year for 25 years, but you know what I mean? 400 at one time is a little bit different, but you could own 2 cars maybe. I mean, you have to play within the rules. The trusts are also very good about you asking them questions about what you want to do and being okay with it. You want to buy an apartment, you want to spend your $400,000 on a house, do it. They got no problem with that. Maybe a property is your best bet. You can even buy an investment property, but there's a whole bunch of rules for it can't be too much, and there's got to be a reason, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into all that, but there's lots of things you can do. But yes?
Will a bank actually give you a mortgage if you want to go out and buy a house, and the income for paying the mortgage comes from this special needs trust?
Well, anything that comes from the special needs trust is not going to be considered income. It's just a bank account. your income still needs to be income. You still need to have a job and show W-2s and whatever else. If you want to show that you have this S&T as an asset, you know, for your mortgage, you're more than welcome to do that. And they'll probably ask you for a letter from your trustee explaining exactly what the conditions of the trust are. And if they write a letter saying that yes, you can pay mortgage payments, then they will take that into consideration. But it's not actually income. If you need income to get a mortgage, you need real income that comes in every month, not from a, you know, unless you're a trust fund baby, but you know.
But
not
your
from-
income can't
But the
go into-
income can go directly into the
Yes.
special needs trust.
Yes.
Yeah, but can that happen based on from an employer standpoint? And we run into this a lot. We can't pay people. I can't pay your trust. How am I going to pay your trust?
Oh, the way it works is you pay me, and it's my job every month to send out the portion that I've pre-agreed. So if I'm making $2,500 a month, Medicaid says I'm allowed to keep $900. That means $1,600. It's my job to write the check and send to the trust. And if the trust doesn't get the money, they're going to call me and ask me where's my money. You know what I mean? So it's on the person's.
So if you W-2 $300,000 a year, it's your responsibility to keep.
It's
the
your responsibility
trust-
to get that into the trust.
Okay.
Because if you don't fulfill your responsibility, you lose your Medicaid. And if you lose your Medicaid, you've done yourself a disservice.
Right.
It's got nothing to do with the employer per se.
Can you make investments out of the trust, like in the stocks and stock market? and
Not
stuff?
really, no. It's not. It's meant to sustain a quality of life, really. It's not meant to grow your
Any of your
income.
special needs.
Yeah, for your special. Yeah,
No, the only reason I asked was because you had mentioned investment property, and you said there's hoops that have to be jumped through, but you could do that. So I was just wondering about, you know, other investments.
I mean, without getting into like lots of details again, the trust itself wouldn't necessarily be involved in the investment property. You could do it outside of the trust,
Oh, okay.
and
All right.
certain of it would be exempt from Medicaid. Medicaid has certain exemptions for investment property. Basically, as long as the property is not making more than 6% of its value a year, and there's all types of formulas where, like you, again, under Medicaid, keeping the trust aside, let's say owned, you know, $1 million business, I could still maintain my Medicaid because there's all types of different rules for what you can do aside from the trust. Because that, what you're suggesting is like an asset, you know, more of an asset.
Right.
We're talking about straight income. I'm working as a lawyer, I make $10,000 a month, where do I put that money? That's where the trust comes in. If you want to get into the game of, you know, assets, and I own a part of a $100 million business, you know, that gets really, really tricky. Because they do allow some of that stuff because they really do want people with Medicaid to be active. But when you start dealing with corporations and shares and mutual funds, the rules get more complex.
Okay.
I mean, that would be a topic for another day.
But it's possible.
Some of it is possible. I'm not going to tell you you're going to become you can become a millionaire under Medicaid, but you have to use the trust for most of it because Medicaid wants to see it when you go. You know what I mean? Medicaid wants it back. So that's pretty much it. I mean, the topic of like transferring things for Medicaid eligibility, I'm going to cover in 2 sentences because I have totally taken up my time. You know, Medicaid has a lot of special rules, like let's say you become disabled and you have to transfer things to your spouse to make it happen. Basically, you can transfer everything for free, meaning without a penalty, and Medicaid eligibility to your kids or your spouse. There's also, again, special rules there. I'm not going to cover a lot because I don't think anybody here has this issue, but it's more.
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
But we can do that and, you know, maybe, you know.
Sure, you can talk to me after. I'm not going anywhere. You know, again, let's say, you know, I own a business, I own a house, I own a lot of cars, I got mutual funds, I got a life insurance policy, I got all these assets, and I have a stroke, and I become, you know, cognitively impaired, and I need to be in a nursing home. You need Medicaid to be in a nursing home. You know, what do you do with those assets? I mean, most of that stuff, there's very specific ways that Medicaid has that you can transfer it to your family, your kids, your spouse. Put it into trusts. You know, there's things that you can't do and things that you can do. You can't really buy annuities and have it pay you out every year. Like Medicaid doesn't like that. So again, there's a lot of special rules, but there are definitely ways that you can do it in a legal way, maintain everything within your family or within your close friend, you know, within your close circle of your relatives, and go into the nursing home safely and, you know, be able to be a Medicaid recipient without getting rid of everything you've had your whole life. I mean, sure, you're going to lose some. I mean, I'll tell you that Medicaid's not going to get a piece of it. They will. But, you know, you'll still feel like, okay, I can get the care I need for the rest of my life, and my whole life's work hasn't gone down the drain. and there's ways you can do that with special types of transfers.
Well, that's what I'm
All
telling
right?
Just a quick one. How far do they look back? Like, you know, well, I'm poor on Tuesday, but last Thursday I had $1 million in the bank, you know?
Medicaid has a 5-year look-back period, so you have to show them everything that you had for 5 years. Anything that was within the rules and was transferred properly within the 5 years is fine. Or if you just had, you know, $100,000 disappear off your bank account without any explanation, that's going to be considered a penalty, meaning that they use that every month. Every month that's divided and it makes you ineligible, $100,000 make you ineligible for like, I don't know, 15 months or something. So they use unexplained money to make you ineligible for a period of time. It's called a penalty, and the penalty is not a cash penalty. The penalty is an ineligibility period, where they'd be like, well, this $100,000 disappeared, so we're gonna drain $100,000 from your resources because you're ineligible for a certain amount of time until $100,000 has come back out into the Medicaid system. Pretty much it. So that's all I have to say. What was that?
I said you're a bad boy, so he's basically confiscated from you.
Exactly. Everything that you can't prove to them or show them, you know, Medicaid always gets their way. They always get it back. You know, if you play within the rules and you know the loopholes, you're good. You walk in there, you know what you're talking about. A lot of times I've gone in there, I know what I'm talking about more than they do. I come in with the rules and regs, I read them the paragraphs, you know, they go show everybody the paragraph and show them, they're like, okay, you're right. You know what I mean? A lot of times they don't even know. I mean, I've walked into Medicaid offices where they don't even know about the Medicaid buy-in program for people with disabilities. So you have to be your own advocate. You have to know what you want, and you have to carry paperwork with you.
You have to go to law school.
Law school helps too, although they didn't teach me this in law school. They taught me how to find this out in law school. You know, so that's pretty much all I got to say. I mean, I covered a decent amount of ground and took up more time than I should have. But I think Q&A, yeah, I'm sure you guys have more questions, yeah?
Yeah, feel free. Nobody's got to go
Please,
anywhere.
yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah.